are you worried at all that even though you are a good guy this time around, that fans might side with Rhea come WrestleMania?
Isn't anyone facing me an underdog?
Pro Wrestling Bits. Subscribe now.
We're at WrestleMania 39, where you're going to be facing Rhea Ripley. This is going to be your 7th WrestleMania match, Charlotte. You've done it all. You're on top of the division again. So how motivated are you heading into this WrestleMania? And where do you find that motivation, given all that you've accomplished, to stay hungry?
You know what's crazy is I am just as hungry as my first Mania. It's just the feeling is different in terms of my first WrestleMania. I didn't have the same level of confidence, but in terms of being hungry and wanting to set the bar and wanting to walk out with the best match, being the brightest star, stealing the show, like all of those things still have the same intensity going in, and almost more pressure, because I've already set the bar and the expectation here. So the expectation of me every time I walk out has to be a different level. Hold on to. Bye, guys. Thank you. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Had some friends over?
No, yeah.
Oh, that's great. So yeah, you're talking about the different intensity. It's funny you mentioned that, because last year your match against Ronda Rousey, I thought, was a very physical build. I believe you've come out and said that as well. You're brawling with Ronda Rousey every week, as one does with Ronda.
Yep.
But this year with Rhea, I believe you guys haven't even touched yet. It's more promo based. So what do you prefer in terms of a build to WrestleMania? Do you like more physical stuff, or do you like making fans wait for it until the match?
Oh, each opponent's so different. Rhea and I already have a built-in story. We faced each other at NXT. I beat her for the NXT title. We faced each other in a triple threat at Mania Backlash after WrestleMania in Tampa, which was me, her, and Asuka. Then I faced her at Money in the Bank in Texas. Then in a triple threat in Las Vegas at SummerSlam, me, her, and Nikki ASH. So, we aren't strangers to each other. It's just she's 3 years better and I'm 3 years better. You know, I feel like I taught her a lesson during all of these encounters, and now she needs to come to me. I need to know that she's learning and digesting and taking it all in and doing what it takes to be at the top of the division. And so far she has. I mean, winning the Rumble from 1 to 30, first ever, is incredible. And she's taking every moment that she's been given and knocking it out of the park. And that's what's important at her level, is taking every opportunity and showing that you have what it takes. So she's a much different player going into this Mania than the one before.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, especially because, given, to your point, all the matches you guys have had, this one still feels very special. It feels like a completely different Rhea Ripley. And I do feel like she, even though is the full-fledged heel, is going to be treated like an underdog of sorts, because you are the establishment, the opportunity, you've been at the top. So are you worried at all that even though you are a good guy this time around, that fans might side with Rhea come WrestleMania?
Isn't anyone facing me an underdog?
Yeah, absolutely.
In reality?
Yeah.
I don't even really look at Rhea as the bad guy going in. Like, what makes her bad? Because she wears dark makeup.
She hangs around with ex-cons, Charlotte.
So I don't like, to me, this is one of those great rivalries where you just see two athletes going at it and you can side with whoever. I don't think she needs to pretend to be bad or pretend to be good. Like, she has to prove to me that she can beat me. And that is very likable. And for me, I think I've earned the respect of all the fans over, you know, the 8 years, excuse me. Yeah, almost 8 years that I've been on the main roster. So for the fans, they just always want to see me knock it out of the park, win or lose. And I think that's what they are rooting for when it comes to me, is they want me to put on the best performance and top each one. And that's what I plan on doing April 1st at SoFi.
What do you make of the relationship between Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio, who you did have an interaction with and who is now an ex-con?
Besides loving the on-screen angle, I hope she just doesn't let him get in the way. I think he adds a layer to her character, and brings out a different side to her. But it also brings out this demanding, dominant leadership role in her as well, because she is somewhat leading Judgment Day, like 3 men. When it comes to using Dom against me, though, like, I wrote the book. You can't trick me. Like, dirtiest player in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you talk about being the dirtiest player in the game, but this time around coming back, I mean, I know that you've embraced more of a role of the good guy and tried to evolve that character. I know you prefer being a heel because you've said in the past that you feel like you come out as more whiny as a good guy, which I think you're doing a good job this run. But what have you done in terms of to endear yourself better to the fans? Are there any strategies there?
I don't right now. I think the character is just bigger than placing her in a good guy box or a bad guy box. I think I'm an attraction, and that's the role I need to play. My character has always done whatever it takes to win, and I think that's something people can get behind. Would I succumb to cheating? I don't know. I haven't been put in that position yet. The character doesn't know that territory. But I think the most important thing that I've thought about when I walked out there is just enjoying the crowd. Not like, for so long I was just so focused on they have to dislike me, they have to dislike me. And now it's kind of embracing the respect and going with it, and not, overthinking what it means to be a good guy. Like, you can be arrogant and really good as a good guy, and that's okay to have swag. Like, people like swag. Like, look at my dad.
Yeah, absolutely. I noticed that in the exchange that you had with Dom. In fact, you referenced your husband Andrade in that exchange, and it seemed a lot of buzz came out of that. Is that something you hope to have a reunion with Andrade and WWE down the road?
I hope so, yes. As long as he's happy.
Yeah.
I just want to be on camera with him at some point.
Do you think that there's a timetable for that?
Wherever that ends up. Do I think there's a timetable?
Yeah.
I don't think you can put a timetable in wrestling. I mean, look at Lita and Trish being back how many years later. I'd like to be with them sooner rather than later, but it's just whatever, destiny holds for us.
What do you make of Lita and Trish? Because I will actually be talking to Lita and Trish this week, and I'm very excited about it. And you're seeing them come back around as legends at this WrestleMania. And I can't wait, personally, as somebody who's going to be attending. What do you make of Lita and Trish coming back as legends?
Well, having the opportunity to face Trish years ago in Toronto, just wow. The match was awesome. I thought I was going to get the opportunity to face Lita because it kind of felt like that last year, with us having that promo segment on SmackDown and then going into the Rumble and having that moment. But seeing them come back as kick-ass in different roles in life, Trish being a mother, and Lita having different roles, I think it's so important that women at any age can come back and still rock and be entertaining. And that's, I think, so important in this day and age, to not put an age limit on us as performers. So seeing them come back reminds me that, like, I don't have to get it all done today, that even if in 10 years I want to come back, I can. And that's how I'm looking at them coming back.
Yeah, it's excellent. And from being a legend to, of course, NXT, where you were a top star, Rhea Ripley obviously was a top star. I feel like there's a long line of lineage when it comes to top women from NXT. You just did the opening for the premium live event that they had. I thought was very good.
Yeah.
Who do you see in NXT as the next great woman to come out of there?
Wait, I wasn't sure if I would be good at that, but it
Oh, it
was
was good.
so much fun. Like, I hope, you know, as I try to figure out kind of what my next role in life is, like, trust me, I don't want to wrestle forever. Like, I love being in that ring, but I was like, oh, hosting was kind of fun. Like, I didn't have we didn't have a monitor or anything that was just like giving me the lines and me just like, it was pretty quick, like, but we put like serious time into it. I was like, dang, that turned out pretty well. Like, I had fun doing that. But in terms of who do I see down there that's going to be a star, there's been a lot of buzz about Tiffany Stratton. So I'm excited to see, you know, what she does in the future.
Yes, it's excellent. Yeah, she's a great one, a great wave of these athletes. And I feel like you might have been in this wave in terms of the next in line type athletes, where they're finding these super athletes, but people like Tiffany Stratton also have these personalities, which I think is even more important.
I think it's just such uncharted, I think that's the right word, territory when I was NXT Women's Champion, because NXT, you know, technically was just like starting off, and we still had to work for the credit and getting the recognition and making that title mean something, to whereas now like NXT is established. So when you're on NXT television, you almost have like, you're almost a step ahead, as in when I was there, it was still, you know, developing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, you were talking about the hosting. It sounds like you kind of caught the hosting bug in terms of when you were doing the PLE, because it did go very well. Is that something that you have aspirations toward?
Like,
TV
I don't know what I don't know what the future holds. It's just like, oh, I liked this. Oh, maybe this. Like, with whatever I do in my next chapter in life, I just want to have the same passion that I have for sports entertainment. Because I feel like to be truly good at something, you really have to love it. And I love what I do. And that's scary to think like, well, what if I don't find something that gives me that same buzz, you know? But I was like, oh, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So if the opportunity happens again, I'd like gladly take it.
What in your life have you found that's come the closest to giving you the buzz that you get from pro wrestling?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, well, okay. I love playing volleyball, but like playing pickup 6-on-6 or 3-on-3 is pretty hard to find. But like being a team captain and the competition and being competitive and like wanting to beat the next team, like I love that adrenaline. I love being like in a competitive environment. Like, yes, it's completely different than wrestling where you're not acting, but like your team needs to beat that team, or just playing in general. Like that gives me the same kind of feeling. But like I get to create Charlotte, like controlling the emotions of 80,000 people, which I'll do at SoFi Stadium April 1st in LA. Like, you don't really do that playing volleyball. So it's different, you know, but I do get that adrenaline playing. Like, I want to win this game.
Yeah.
So
That's great. And in SoFi Stadium, in front of 80,000 people, WrestleMania, you talk about competition. I feel like this is going to be a very competitive WrestleMania in terms of what should be the main event, because it's as loaded of a WrestleMania as I've ever seen in terms of how many characters feel so hot, how many storylines are so good. You know, I would imagine Roman and Cody would be one of the night's main events, but the other night, you and Rhea are on the short list, I feel, of potential main events for that night. So why should Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair be a main event on one of the nights?
why?
Yes.
Well, one, she won the Royal Rumble. So that's guaranteed a main event spot at WrestleMania. Not solely relying on that, but I think you have two titans, two athletes who, regardless of their story or who have faced each other prior, are going to put on a main event match solely on that, knowing that they're capable of the storytelling, and possibly me retaining or crowning a new SmackDown Women's Champion. I think when a main title is on the line, it's always main event worthy.
Yes.
So to me, it's important for that championship to feel that prestigious, to feel that important. But again, like you said, there are a lot of stories that are worthy. So we're just going to have to make sure between now and WrestleMania that we give the audience something to sink their teeth into, to feel that the stakes are that high.
And if by chance you guys aren't selected for the main event, is that going to be taken as a slight? Will you find that as motivation we're going to show them to try to follow this?
Motivation. You can't take it as a negative. It has to just be motivation. Because at the end of the day, no matter where you are on the card, like every story is important. Every story means something different to the industry. So no, I won't take it as a slight. Just maybe a little more like, all right, we really need to have the best match of the weekend. But no, whoever gets that spot is who, the company feels is the best story for it.
Absolutely. And I'm very much looking forward to you and Rhea going one-on-one. I feel like this is going to be a great match. And before I let you go, I just want to know, what is your favorite personal WrestleMania memory of any of your experiences with WrestleMania?
It has to be sitting front row with my family when my dad retired. Like, it was the first time I really realized, well, yes, it was the first time I really realized how much he meant to the industry, and the emotion, and sitting there with my family for the first time all together in a long time watching him. Like it's weird to say, like, you watched your dad retire on that stage and then now you're on that stage. And especially, being International Women's Day, being a female on that stage, spearheading the industry, and hopefully impacting women in India, hopefully impacting all women in all industries, that they can do whatever it takes no matter what.
Yes, you absolutely have, Charlotte, and a happy International Women's Day to you. I really appreciate you bringing that up. So thank you so much for your contributions to the industry and to WrestleMania, and I can't wait to see you guys. I think it's going to be one of the best matches of the weekend, if not the best.
Thank you. I appreciate it.